webpage here and see, oh, welcome to Culture Doom. This is episode 335. I had to double check that. I am one half of your hosting duo. My name is Alex.
And I am the other half. My name is Brendan.
So, what's on your mind, Brendan?
Well, I wasn't sure what episode we were on either. I had to check my notes, and I was confused because last time we did an episode, we kind of just went by the seat of our pants and didn't have a whole pregame structured. So I thought that I had skipped an episode, but it turns out that I had already written down all of the things I wanted to talk about, but I never wrote down the things you wanted to talk about. So
it's not important.
Anyway, it's all Alex.
None of it
you
matters.
Are an important contribution to this production. Speaking of being an important contribution to this production, Alex.
Yes. Is this the time when we ask for donations for our public broadcasting program?
I am once again coming before you.
Did we get those tote bags printed up?
They were. What were they? They were canvas bags.
Canvas bags. This high quality by small children.
Speaking of China,
yeah.
I know you don't want to talk about this, Alex, but really quick, since you're the only person I can talk to about this. You're the only member of your family who has a COVID shot, I believe.
I believe so.
Or not a COVID shot, a COVID vaccine shot.
Yeah.
So Erica hasn't gotten it yet.
She got the first.
Oh, she did.
Two.
Okay.
She's doing
because I was
going to
say
I did the single thing.
It's a very surreal world where Alex is the only person who has gotten the vaccine,
the full vaccine,
because I haven't gotten it. His wife hadn't gotten it, but for a good week, 2 weeks, Alex was strutting around like he owned the place because he had his vaccine.
Yeah, and now that everybody
he kept sending me pictures of his sticker, and he was like, "Hey, Brendan, did you see this? I got vaccinated."
And they gave me a cookie.
Did they really?
Yeah.
So did you have to stay there? Alex did not send me pictures of his vaccination card.
They didn't give me a cookie either. They're like,
well, they didn't.
No. They had.
This story is entirely false.
Well, they had Pritzker behind a curtain there and said, "Hey, would you like a little handy?" And I'm like, "No."
I bet he's got gentle hands, and they're probably sweaty too.
They are probably sweaty, and they probably smell too. No, thank you.
Well, but it depends on how many hand jobs he gave that day.
No, I want Merkel's Milkies or no deal.
I bet. Never mind. Merkel's Milkies sounds like a European candy bar.
It is. Can't wait to see the commercial for that garbage. But what was your question about the thing?
Oh, my question was, so they just like what was the process like? Because you are not a member of the what's it called?
The sheep
personnel.
Yeah.
No, the sheep. You're not essential personnel.
No, apparently, and I find that very condescending comment to begin with while saying, "Oh, they're essential." So it's like, "Oh, so in the event of the bomb blast, you're going to send us into Vault 162, and the rest of us are kind of going to become ghouls." Okay, cool. Thanks, man.
Alex's world is entirely composed of video game metaphors and anime references and wrestling references.
When the walls fell. No, well, basically, my wife, because I wanted to do the Johnson & Johnson one, which is actually going by Janssen, and people are confused by it. They're like, "Who the hell's Janssen?" And it's like, well, it's a pharmaceuticals company that's owned by Johnson & Johnson, but, they don't apply the name because Johnson & Johnson are just known for bandages, and I don't know what else.
Johnson & Johnson also doesn't want to get their
baby
brand
shampoo
tarnished.
Yeah.
Stop interrupting me, Alex. You keep trying to finish my sentences with the wrong word.
Sorry.
Johnson & Johnson doesn't want to get their brand tarnished when it turns out these things make your penis fall off.
Yeah.
Or something, or your arm fall off.
Or make
so they're
you
like,
impotent.
Yeah, it's Janssen.
Yeah.
It's Janssen & Janssen's vaccine, not
Janssen
Johnson & Johnson.
It's Janssen and Janssen. Yeah, so I wanted to get that one because it's a single shot, and I think the process that they utilize to develop it is different from like everybody else using like mRNA. I think it's kind of similar, but it doesn't use the like the spike gene or something like that. But I know it's different because you only need one shot. And I'm like, okay, well, it's the closest to whatever a normal vaccine is, the regular flu shot I get every year because my wife harps on me about it. So I found out they had it in a nearby city, a nearby town from us. So I drove out there, and it was being done in a mall. And I go to the mall, and it's one of those weird malls where you have all the stores that you can come in from the outside, but then there's an entrance to go the inside of the mall. So it's a little weird. So I'm walking around there and I'm like, I'm thinking to myself, I haven't been in the mall in like over a year. And it's all malls are dying dead malls and stuff like that. So it was kind of eerie. I was having more fun being in the mall than the fact that what I was there for. And I saw that they were doing the shots there and stuff, which is done through like a local medical group here. So you sign up there, you put in your information, a little placard, you give them your insurance card and stuff like that. So it was all kosher in that sense. And then they take you back there and they give you the shot. And on the list there, they show there's like all the information. It shows like if you're getting the Johnson Johnson, there's AstraZeneca, Pfizer, Moderna, and then there's GlaxoSmithKline, or Sorapil, whatever. I haven't heard anybody getting those, but they just have them listed there as to what one would be available. And it sounds like they'll give you whatever shot is available based upon whatever they get supply wise. So it could be anybody, but I found out that day it was Johnson Johnson. So after they give you a shot, you went to across the way there, across like the walkway or whatever in the mall, to what used to be, I guess, a Walden Books. And I could tell it was like magazines and books, racks and stuff like that. And you had to sit there for like 15 minutes. And after 15 minutes, then you could leave. And they gave you your vaccination card thing. I'm like, thank you.
So everything went smoothly though.
Yeah, like the only thing like getting like other like shots, like flu shots, it's just my arm was kind of sore for like a couple days, and that's pretty much about it. Like I didn't really feel it. I know people have been saying like there's been reactions and stuff to different things, and yeah, I
don't know that I've heard about. Have you heard reactions to the Johnson & Johnson shot?
Somebody said that there was a guy who started losing the skin off his legs, and I don't know what other underlying things he might have. I mean, it might have been something that caused it to trigger that or something, but
I will say clearly it hasn't helped your throat clearing issues during spring and fall.
No, it was raining and I wasn't properly dressed, and yeah, but now I'm drinking whiskey, so. Every
time you clear your throat, I put a mark on my script so that I know that has to come out of the edit. This episode is tripling in length as we speak.
Sorry about that.
But yeah, so the thing that I found amusing was that Alex got the Johnson & Janssen vaccine, but so your wife got Pfizer, and this was by design.
This was by design.
Correct?
Like Erica going into it, she said, okay, well, if you want the Johnson one, you can get Johnson. I'm going to go get Pfizer, because in her mind is that if anything does happen to either of us, at least the other person will still be able to be around and take care of things regardless of that. Because even though she's up on getting the vaccine and stuff like that, she has been reading about a bunch of these things and seeing that there are cases where something weird occurs with somebody who's been, vaccinated or something like that. And that was basically her idea as to going about and being fine with getting two different ones. Also, I think it comes down to what actually is available for people to utilize as a vaccine in their geographic area.
No, I just meant that I like that you went for the president vice president arrangement where it's you guys can't be on the same plane together. So, and I'm thinking, how pissed are you going to be, since you didn't want the vaccine to begin with? Mm-hmm. How pissed are you going to be when it turns out the Johnson & Johnson one is the one that's going to make your head fall off?
That's fine.
And you'll be like, Erica, you bitch, you've done this to me.
That's fine. I won't mind.
That's fine.
Yeah, that's fine. I don't.
Come sweet death.
Yes, the embrace of death.
I know that you don't care, but I'm sure that your wife and children are thankful that you are now safely vaccinated.
My kids have no clue what the hell's going on. They're too busy trying to watch PJ Masks.
But anyway, speaking of the sweet embrace of death, birds are flying into your home, apparently.
Yeah, now that it's spring, and I put bird food in the bird seed in the bird feeder, the birds have decided for some dumb reason to go and like fly into my windows of my house, and especially the front window here where I'm currently recording. And I don't know why they think they can fly in, because we don't really Windex the windows much. I mean, inside we do, but not really the outside, because it's like whatever. And also with my oldest son basically putting all of his fingerprints and God knows what else on the window. It kind of creates smudges, and you're just like, what is wrong with these birds? To top it off, also, a lot of times I have these curtains drawn closed so that they won't necessarily see anything to fly into, but then I hear from like once in a while, like a bird like come flying and smack it, and then like I have to open up the curtains and be like, is it still alive? And the bird's like, I'm fine. I can fly off. Thank you. So
thanks for checking. I think maybe it's the reflection of the trees off the glass, and it thinks that there's more forest to get to or something. Because you're not like in a completely barren place, but I believe depending on the angle, it could just see some trees to fly to.
Yeah, and I think it's just because the birds are just like, oh, I can finally go out and do stuff in like the daytime because it's nice and things like that. So that's sort of the thing that they're deciding to do, or they all have decided to participate in a suicide pact or something like that.
Ooh, how do I join?
You have.
They also have tiny little brains.
They do have, and they poop all over the place. And I noticed the ones that are always doing it are those like starlings. They're kind of like dark, and they have yellow beaks and like speckles on their backs. I think that's a starling.
I get to find out about birds from my mother because she likes to inform me. She has a bunch of bird feeders outside now, and she discovered that sparrows, I guess, are kind of assholes, and they'll try to like they get very territorial, and so they'll scare away other birds, like the what are the cute ones?
Robins?
Whatever. No.
Finches?
Because the finches, yeah, the little finches. Mm-hmm. And they'll like attack them to get them away from their food. Now my mom's all stressed out because she wants the finches to be able to eat too. And I'm like, Mom, it's not Disney.
Swallows, right? Swallows are complete assholes. A funny story about that is that several years ago, my in-laws were out on vacation. I think they were on some vacation or something, and they asked if I could like mow the lawn at their house. And I said, yeah, sure, that's fine. So I went out there to go and mow. Excuse me. So I went out there to go and mow the lawn, and it was during late in the summer when the corn was still up, and there was, for some weird reason, like this giant flock of swallows that were all congregating there. And I was mowing the lawn close to the road, where right on the other side of it is where the cornfields are. They started like dive bombing me and like chirping a lot, and it was really scary because when you see like the swallow tail, it looks very scary, like this flying like dart of death. And I really didn't like mowing there, so thankfully I mowed. And then I was just like, I came home and I told Eric, I'm like, I almost got killed by birds today. I don't want to do it anymore.
And she's like, it's okay, honey, you don't have to fight the birds anymore.
I had trouble sleeping that night. That's my story.
Do you know, sorry, Alex, I just realized something. There was a whole bit. This is why I'm old, and I forget to do things, and then I remember them 20 minutes into the episode. We were supposed to talk about that we were doing shows every other week now.
Oh, we are. Yes. We are.
How was I was gonna be like, well, whatever. I guess there you go, everybody. There's the anticlimactic announcement.
Yeah.
I don't know what caused this, though, because your child is not that much older than he was 3 months ago.
Yeah, I think it's just the way that he's able to sleep for the most part decently at night.
Ah, gotcha. Speaking of the passage of time,
yes, sir.
Alex, I was home for Easter this past weekend, and
like a good Catholic boy.
Yeah, like a good Catholic boy. I was mowing my mom's lawn, and I never bothered to update my address from our high school, and noticed that I had been invited to the 2021 high school reunion party, which is a whole other issue. But basically, it is our 20th. It is our 20th high school reunion is going on this summer, which is horrifying for the obvious reasons.
Yeah,
but also just like, you've never gone to one of these, right?
No, because I always ask you about that, and I don't think you've ever gone. So
I've never gone either.
Okay, so we were basically still at that same standpoint.
Alex, we should go this year.
Are we going to show up like Romy and Michelle? No, it was funny you mentioned that because like a day or two later, Erica came in with the mail and she said, "Look what came in the mail." And I was like, "Oh Jesus!" She's like, "Do you want this for any reason?" I'm like, "Brendan told me to throw it out, so throw it out." And she's like, "Okay."
Is there any number that you would go to?
Well, here's the thing: is like the further along we go, the worse and worse everybody's gonna look.
What does that have to do with anything?
Well, that's the thing. Like we like to keep tabs on things. I mean, me more so than you, but I like to keep tabs and see what people look like based upon our alumni magazine that they send out.
There's pictures of people in there?
Sometimes, from time to time, there is. And there's some like updates or pictures, like some random stuff. And they did have sometimes pictures of people from other class reunions and stuff, so you get to see some of them. Whoever bothers to show up. But I mean, that's pretty much all I'd be interested in seeing. Be like, oh, what does this person look like and stuff. It's like, okay, well, if they show up to a reunion, I get to see what they look like. Otherwise, I can just Google search them. You know, it's kind of easy to find people. I mean, I've done it a couple times and shown you what they look like and stuff too. So,
well, that's true.
Yeah.
I almost went to my grade school reunion.
Oh.
Partially because that was it was a mixed sex, obviously class,
That's
and I was
hot.
like, one of my like sixth grade classmates is also old and lonely and would like want to like hit the hotel together after the festivities are over. But instead, I realized that everyone was old, had kid. Everyone was old, married, and had kids, and I didn't. None of them. How's the least insulting? Like, I didn't want to hang out with any of them.
All those losers.
Well, it kind of bummed me out what happened was someone found me on Twitter and was like, "Hey, Brendan, we're trying to do a thing. You should join Facebook so that you can join and hear about it." And I was like, "Oh God, well, okay." So that was like my second round with Facebook was I made an account just to join my grade school's page or whatever. And then I was able to see all the people posting and was checking out all their profiles, and it was so depressing. And just strange, and it never got off the ground anyway, but in my head I had this like not romanticized, but this fantasy of like some girl that I had a crush on in sixth grade, and she's single, and we're at the bar, and it's like, oh, this place is lame. Let's go someplace else. You know what I mean? Something fun and sexy. Instead, it was just like, hey, maybe we can meet in the church basement, and I can bring my kids. And I was like, are you? That was it. That's why I checked out. They wanted to meet for the church Oktoberfest parking lot. They wanted to meet, and that would be double as our class reunion. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me?
That's a
We're not
hot
even
episode
doing
of
this
Red
at
Shoe
a bar
Diaries.
or something. Can we do it in the Chili's bar at least?
Oh, like the
Like the
Dundies,
Office? Yes.
Dundee Awards.
But it's not. I was just like, that's the lamest thing I've ever heard. The church from our grade school, their Oktoberfest celebration, that's what we're using as our class reunion, our like 20th class reunion. Get the fuck out of here.
Maybe they're not doing that great, and that's why everything's being kept to very slim minimum as to the facilities.
Maybe. Has your wife gone to any of her reunions?
I don't believe so. I think it's because most people down here in the small towns see each other on a somewhat regular basis if they go from one place to another, like the store or facility or whatever, or just around town. So really they don't do kind of reunions and stuff like that.
This small town's too good for reunions. I get it.
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of the small town, like a lot of people kind of still stay within the area as opposed to like, places like the burbs where you got, some of those high schools, like one of the Glenbards, which have got like close to 1,000 people or whatever it is, or several hundreds of people, where they all end up moving out because just the way it is and stuff like that. That's probably why.
The other reason I want to do, I'm keen to get back into doing more than one show a month, is that I feel like we we get into a groove, and it becomes harder to get into a groove when we have big gaps between episodes.
Yeah.
Because I was just sitting here thinking, and I'm like, and I know I always do this. Every episode I think is the worst episode we've ever recorded. But I'm sitting here thinking, like, what are we? I was like, what? It's not your fault. I blame myself for all of the problems. Anything that goes wrong on a show is exclusively because of me. But I was like, what are we talking about? We're talking about high school reunions and birds so far. We need to spice things up. How about buy one, get one offers?
With a tote bag. Or, I'm sorry.
So in Alex's continued quest to domesticate himself to the maximum, he was telling me earlier about BOGO.
Yeah, so
And I have never heard this term in my entire life. So tell me about BOGO.
So BOGO, I mean, a lot of people probably, I feel people know that the term BOGO, which stands for buy one, get one in a lot of stores and stuff like that. But I think you've always heard it as buy one, get one. Sometimes they shorten it on like, placards or promotional materials.
I'm not very fond of abbreviating words in general or abbreviating terms.
Because you're uncertain as to what they mean.
I just don't, I think it's lazy. And I don't like shortened or cute. So BOGO. Yeah, it's too cutesy. You know what it is? It's like FOMO. Have you heard that term? I have FOMO.
Do
you know what that is?
That sounds like you should get tested.
You don't see this explains the difference in our day-to-day lives.
Our relationship.
Because I just mean you reference BOGO, and I'm like, I have no idea what the fuck that means. You're like, it's buy one, get one, man. I'm like, no, I've never heard that. And then I'm like, I know FOMO, and you're like, I don't know what the hell that is. FOMO is short for fear of missing out. FOMO, and it's what people say. It's like you're at a bar with people, and there's someone's really tired, and you're like, "Well, you can go home, but we're gonna go to the next bar." And then they're like, "No, I have FOMO. I can't just leave. So I'm gonna force myself to stay awake and go to the next place with you guys."
Oh, so it's peer pressure without actual.
It's
pressure.
not pure. Yeah, it's not. It's not like no one's pressuring it. It's just more like I'm worried that if I don't do this thing, you guys are gonna have a great time without me, and I'm gonna feel like I missed out on something.
Oh, okay.
It's too cutesy to say FOMO.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. But anyways, back to BOGO. No, yeah, basically the BOGO thing, like people sometimes like they see it and they're like, oh, buy one, get one. It's like, oh, it's always going to be free. And the thing is that like at the gas station, I saw this and they're like, buy one, get one. And it, like in small print, it was like for a penny. And it was basically that really bad Canadian vodka, or what was that shit? It was vodka. We determined it was vodka that was just put in whiskey barrels.
It was the Canadian whiskey.
Canadian whiskey, yeah, quote unquote. And a lot of people like wouldn't notice that necessarily because then they'd get pissed off about paying for a penny more. And I'm like, it's not even worth a penny, but yeah, whatever. But then sometimes like I would see like the BOGO thing, like the BOGO bin there, and it's got like snacks. And I go, oh, is this buy one, get one free? And they're like, yeah, this one's buy one, get one free. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, I'll go get that. Or sometimes when you're, like you would know because you get energy drinks. Like sometimes they say like buy one, get one, what was it? I was not Rockstar because nobody buys that shit anymore. Monsters or Reigns. And it's like buy one, get one. It says like BOGO, and then like the small print you've got like, it's got the fine print, the way they say it's like, oh, half price or something like that. But you don't really notice it because the letters for buy one, get one or BOGO are always way bigger than everything else, purposely done. But it seems like people have just kind of gotten this in their head where it's like, oh, buy one, get one. Automatically it's going to be free without any type of, additional things that you have to pay for or any type of, other requirements that you have to do in order to get that deal, quote unquote, and stuff. Mark.
I love you.
I love you too.
That's another thing. I can't say that I do much I can't say that I like really pay attention to deals. Do you and Erica cut out coupons?
Okay, so here's the thing.
Here we go.
Here's the thing. So when I was living by myself in my apartment, I would get these coupons. Anybody from this area will know what I mean by these. I won't say the name of it. It was from County Market, which is like a supermarket chain down here. And they had these things called penny pinchers. And I would get the penny pinchers once a month, and I would clip out all the coupons there. And then I would go to County Market, and I would buy only the items that I had coupons for. So I'd be walking out there after paying like $25. I'm like, check out my cart, you know? And eventually, at a certain point, they ended up changing it where instead of having the coupons good for a whole month, they would do half of the coupons for the first 2 weeks and half of the coupons for the other 2 weeks, which kind of gets you back in the store. But for me, I hated it because I'm like, well, I don't want to come back in after 2 weeks. So eventually I stopped doing that, and I'm not really one to continue doing the whole coupon thing anymore, but Erica will be the one who's always looking for deals and stuff like that. So much so that the point where I'm just like, just go and get this, just buy it, just whatever the price is that you find lowest right now, just go and get it. I don't care if something's going to be like a few bucks less, just buy it, just do it. It's fine. It's less stress.
Where do you get coupons today?
We get it in the mail.
See, yeah,
but
I don't get mail.
She does a lot of times coupons like email coupons, and she also goes this one thing called Retail Me Not, where they have like online coupons, but sometimes those coupons aren't necessarily good anymore, as you kind of have to go fishing through them and stuff like that.
I guess it makes sense if you have a family. This all just comes down to the fact that I'm painfully alone, because as a college student, as well, though I guess that's not true because you were out clipping all of the coupons yourself when you were in school. But it just never came up, and it was always like, how much am I really saving doing this? That kind of situation.
Right.
But if you're buying to support an entire family with kids, then the coupons make more sense. Mm-hmm. I guess.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is even like when we were married before we had kids and stuff like that. She would be doing that type of stuff. She's kind of been more of she searched her sister even more so than her is always like the deal hunter and stuff like that. And I'm kind of like, is this the best deal we have right now? Let's just go and get it now because it's something might not happen. And
is this because women are more responsible or something? Because that's how in previous relationships I was always the one who was like, just buy it, and they're like, no, this one's cheaper. I'm gonna buy this one. I'm like, yeah, but it's an off-brand. It's not as good as those. Buy if you want Ritz, buy the Ritz crackers. Don't buy the store brand crackers because they do not taste the same. And she'd be like, no, it's fine. And then we'd be eating cheese and crackers, and she'd be like, "It's really not. Doesn't taste like Ritz."
Yeah.
But she's like, "But it was the deal. It was a deal. It was 75 cents cheaper."
Yeah.
Like,
some things. God. Yeah. Some things like that food stuff. Where we like going to like Aldi and stuff like that. It depends on the product. Like you said, like the Ritz crackers. It was like you can get the same type of cracker, quote unquote, for like 40 cents less if you get the store brand as opposed to Ritz. But at the same time, when you do the taste test and what you've grown up and enjoyed when you're older, you're like, oh God, this is terrible. This does not taste like Ritz at all and stuff like that.
Cheez-Its qualify for that too. Like the off-brand Cheez-Its are a disaster. I've not met a Cheez-It imitator that I've enjoyed. But I agree with you. It is kind of a product basis.
Yeah.
Because like, for example, the Aldi's version of the cheese, like the chip queso, tortilla queso that they have, I like it better. Yeah, the dip. I like it better than the version they have, the normal one from the real chip people.
Yeah.
What do they call? Who makes those chips? Those tortilla chips? Tostitos?
Tostitos. Yeah.
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 I don't like. The other one's thicker.
Some of those, I think, for some of those, you kind of have to take a chance and go, fishing and hunting for it and stuff like that.
Right.
See like, okay, I'm going to try it this week. Does it taste like ass? Yeah, it tastes like ass. I'm just going to get this brand and stuff like that. Because there are some brands, even though they're produced by the same factory and they're labeled differently for, first they basically make like the generic store brand and stuff. They do use different ingredients in it, which are just those 13 syllable chemicals and stuff that kind of make or break sometimes the taste. What I like, and I've told Erica before, is like they make she likes Raisin Bran, regular Raisin Bran, and I like Raisin Bran Crunch. but I've had Raisin Bran Crunch, and I've had Walmart's version of Raisin Bran Crunch, or like Crunch clusters or whatever they call it. And I actually prefer the Walmart brand to the actual like real Raisin Bran Crunch and stuff like that, just because I think they give like a little, they're like the bran flakes are frosted or something like that. So that's like one thing I prefer. But then for other things in some stores, I kind of prefer a particular brand, like orange juice of stuff like that. I like this type of, like, I like a brand of orange juice, like Minute Maid or Simply Orange or something, because then I've had like the store brand and I'm like, this is just terrible.
Fancy pants with his orange juice over here. Holy moly. Simply Orange? Damn.
Once in a blue moon, but it's like otherwise.
Damn.
Yeah, that's right.
That's those.
Coffee creamer.
You're buying juice that's not in the frozen department?
Who makes it? How do you even make that?
The concentrate?
You just melt it down and put water in it?
Yeah, you put it in a thing of water. I always buy the lime stuff to make shitty, but delicious
margaritas.
Margaritas, yeah.
Well, the shittier the margarita, the better it is, quite honestly.
You just buy the lime thing and you pour a bunch of tequila on top of it. Like one time, we went and got the cheapest store brand, like Jewel brand tequila, and then the shitty lime. I don't know if we got the Minute Maid or we got the shitty lime. One of the frozen concentrates. Just blend them together, throw some ice with it, and it was a great time. And I got sick because I drank too much, and it had way too much sugar. But it was, go for it. There's your, it's spring has sprung, so everyone get out the margaritas.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty good. Yeah. I mean, it's like I said, you just need to kind of take a chance on some things and stuff like that. You won't know unless you try them. So
that's the message of this week's episode. You don't know unless you try it. Like rim jobs. Speaking of rim jobs, Nosy Nose air breather. Once again, Alex. This was Alex's half of the episode, and he was talking about the Nosy nose breather, and I was like, I don't know what this is, but I'll put it on the list. And then while he was talking, I Googled it, and now I am very intrigued.
Yes, the Nosy Nose. It's one of those, sometimes we present you one of those weird items that people have developed for some very weird reason. I feel like a lot of these are Japanese inventions.
You're very good at finding this stuff, though.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
The Nosy, basically, I have to say the Nosy website is probably the best thing about the product, because this thing is just graphic website design like to a T. Because if you
they really like themselves.
Yeah, they do. They think very highly of themselves. If you notice, like in the upper right hand corner, like the shopping cart logo, it has RGB.
I've seen it say, is this designed by Corsair?
I hope not. Well,
I like how
coinciding with my keyboard right now.
They want to prove how cool they are, and nothing is a shorter trip to we're a progressive, cool company than men in skirts.
Yes, are they skirts or are they kilts? What do they go by?
I'm sure it's technically a kilt, but I was being flippant.
Okay, so basically, the Nosy is a polygonal looking kind of container for your nose. It's sort of basically, I would say,
that's the most insult. You're not wrong, but that was such an overly simplified container for your nose.
It looks like it's a container for your nose. It's
delightfully dismissive is how I would describe that.
Basically, the thing is that they created this filter like you use now for a mask, like for COVID and stuff. But this is something that's meant for your nose. I'm not certain if this was made prior to COVID or not, but
it's not out yet, so I'm assuming this is a response to COVID.
Yeah, so this is basically something for like people who don't like wearing the masks over their nose. I guess this is kind of something that could be marketed towards them, but then those people tend to be boomers and other people, so it probably isn't. But it's basically trying to make this scientifically in lab, created and designed, filtration system for your nose, which apparently it's also been developed by former people from Dyson. So you got some high tech stuff out here.
This is what got them fired from Dyson.
Yeah, because they found out they weren't working on vacuums, which die after a year.
Who's gonna wear this shit? You're fired. Also, this kind of reminds me of the 12 Monkeys style inflatable plastic bag that some of those senators were wearing over their head, where it's just like the most ridiculous thing imaginable. And then, but people are trying to use it with a straight face.
Yeah.
Like these promotional photos are hilarious. And the stuff at the beginning, we're super cool. Look at how cool we are with these things on our nose.
We got a bunch of models.
It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, so basically it kind of runs coinciding with the face masks in which you wear the actual mask over your mouth, and then the nosy just goes over your nose, so you don't have to put the mask over your nose in that sense, because it's basically even better than the mask, which makes you wonder why didn't they just create the mask. But it's because the way it's designed is that it creates like this seal around your nose and has a filtration, I don't know, system in it of some sort, like a wafer or some sort of, vent or something. And it's apparently made from like silicone, and it's sweat and makeup resistant. So for you boys out there, that'll be very useful. And it's waterproof, so you can go swing with it, I guess.
I guess. I love I'm looking at their like sort of little facts section. Why nosy? 1 out of 9 deaths worldwide are caused by air pollution, allegedly.
Well,
3-year reduction in life expectancy due to air pollution in Europe.
Oh, Europe.
And these little 85% air leakage. Face masks have leakage of up to 85%. N95 respirators failed 92% of 1,500 face fit tests, which is a weird statistic if you read that. N95 respirators failed 92% of 1,500 face fit tests. So that's not saying 92% of N95 respirators failed. It's saying in a very specific test that they're referencing. And then
it wasn't
COVID stuff.
It wasn't. It basically didn't work properly on their faces.
It was a bit disingenuously phrased, is what I would. Oh, if you buy this, you can have a 28% increase in, or I guess this is just air pollution, is a 20% risk in dementia increase.
That sounds.
Lung
that
cancer.
Makes yeah. They need to reword the dementia thing, because it sounds like 20% reduction in the risk of dementia instead of putting this on. Maybe this is like all those stats. There's like, whenever you have like a special item, you have all these boosts, and then there's like this one kind of like nerf that it gives you. It's like you become more dementia like.
So they're saying that you don't have to wear the rest of the mask with this? What's this all about?
Well, basically it says that it's geared more towards your nose than the mouth purpose.
Yeah, but if you're still have to rely on a normal face mask, then doesn't the rest of their information null?
Yeah.
I mean, if you still have to wear a normal mask, and meanwhile they're complaining that masks are ineffective.
Yeah.
But you still have to wear a mask. It comes with a mask.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the kit. Which one are we getting, Alex? What color? Do you want to get the pink one?
Let me see here. Nosy. Okay, there are filters. Filter subscriptions.
The Nosy X. Nosy X.
The Nosy.
So it comes with a little box. It's like a recharger or something.
I guess it's just what you stored in. So you put the nosy in the box in the bag, and then the bag in the box.
That's not a bag, Alex. That's a mask.
Oh, the mask? Oh.
Or a slingshot, one of the two.
A medieval sling. So you can whip it at people. Why in pink? I like the white one. It's clean, simple.
Well, I'm going to pick the pink one then, because the pink is the color of vaginas.
It featured. One of the features is that it can be worn with nose piercings.
Yeah, based on the advertising on the front page, I'm not surprised that they think that's a selling point. These poor models, they have to know.
What? They look like idiots.
Yes, they're all wearing eyeliner too.
The interesting feature it says here is that it is a patented and lab certified technology which destroys 99.997% of virus and bacteria that touches mouth covering and filters. So the real thing here is not the stupid nose thing; it's the actual filter technology that they should actually be marketing and selling to people.
Boop, 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 boop.
Shockproof magnetic attachment system with nasal dilator to maximize airflow. So here's the thing. The filters, so the 4-pack of filters is 15 pounds, because it's British. It comes with 4 filters, which include up to 200 hours of use. Please note that each filter lasts between 50 to 100 hours of use depending on air quality. Huh. So are they battery powered? Or is it just like they can be exposed for 50 to 100 hours?
Do I have to keep record of how many hours I've used it?
Some people can. Some of these people would. For hygienic reasons, we recommend filters be changed on a weekly basis. So 4-pack is for a month, so about 15 pounds every... Oh, they're sold out. Apparently they've sold out of everything.
No, I'm pretty sure that they haven't been released yet.
I think these are all pre-orders.
Yes. Oh, yeah. So they sold out the pre-orders?
I believe so.
That's embarrassing. Where are these made?
Well, the address that they have is in London.
Okay. And it's British. What am I talking about? It's in British pounds.
Yeah.
Do you have that breathing license? Not that I care at all about them, but it's sad that they are launching this at the tail end of the pandemic where everybody just wants to not be wearing this shit anymore. So it's like the worst possible time. I mean, it seems as though this summer most people are going to be doing everything they can to avoid wearing this shit.
They're already going to baseball games. So
yeah, I look forward to your future review of your Nosy. You're getting one for every member of the family, right?
Yes.
They have the small section, the small one for Zachary and Nicholas.
Yep. Yes.
Can't wait.
Yes.
So you know what I think we're going to do now, Alex?
Yeah, but
I think we're going to take a quick break. You can get a glass of water. God. And when we come back, we'll pick up with a visit from a certain professor.
Oh, yay.
So stay tuned to Culture Doom, and we'll be back right after this.
Oh, so smooth, love and soft. Squidgy, baby! New Super Mix from Haribo, bag full of fun. It's a world of love, it's all a happy world of Haribo.
So I know I've talked in the past about pooping being proof against intelligent design.
Yes.
But there's something else I want to add to my list, which is sweaty balls. Because now that it's spring and it's warmer and it's been a couple of 80-degree days in a row,
Oh, yeah.
I'm back to not having the window open or having air conditioning on while we record, which means a lot of sitting in a warm apartment. And then when I get up, it's like my balls are like, it just doesn't ring intelligent design to me.
What I could suggest is using what is it, Gold Bond?
You say you're gonna do Gold Bond. That's too much of an old man thing. You do that, don't you?
I do. They have a spray. There's a spray. And if it's good enough for Shaquille O'Neal, it's good enough for
as soon as but he's a fucking professional, or he was a professional athlete. They're allowed to have sweaty balls.
Hey, any man who's sweating down there is a professional, in my opinion.
You're all superstars in my eyes.
Oh, superstar.
So yeah, what I was gonna say is that as soon as your friend is telling you there's a spray for that, you know that you guys have hit a new age bracket together.
You know what brand of socks I like? I like this brand of socks.
Right. We're going to be discussing toilet paper and socks and like hair dye. Would you ever dye your hair?
No. I think we've had the discussion. I told you I won't dye my hair. I have no intention to. And then you said that the first gray hair that you find on your pubes, you want me to kill you.
Well, yes, that's an established fact.
I really don't have an
Jesus
interest.
Christ,
in
Alex! I think that you have spent more time in this episode clearing your throat than talking.
It could be, it'll be like a best of clip show at the end of the season. Be like, and here's 5 minutes straight of Alex clearing his throat. I'm sorry.
Anyway, well, that's enough about my midlife gray hair panic anxiety crisis. More importantly, do you know what time it is?
Yes, Brendan, it is time for this week's episode of, or version, or segment of
Professor Alex's fascinating factoids and other such trivia.
Professor Alex's. I don't know how to.
You feel compelled that you have to say that every time.
I want to say it sometimes. Or you can get me clearing my throat some more.
Well, I'm very glad that it's been far too long, Professor Alex. I feel like I do the same introduction each time we do this.
It gets better with age.
Well, I'm just going to let you take over, Professor.
Okay.
Educate me on the world the magical world we live in.
Okay, I got some great factoids here. These are some real good ones here, actually. Our first factoid comes from the animal kingdom and is about our fine feathered friend, the common potu, or uratau bird. It is also known as the ghost bird due to its ability to being capable of masquerading with its surroundings, and it has a song calling that is very similar to that of a ghost whale. Thus, the name the ghost bird is quite apropos for this type of bird. I try to make it sound like a smart person, but I'm not.
Apropos.
Anyways, yes, the ghost bird. If you look up the ghost bird on YouTube, it's an interesting looking bird. It's similar. I think it's similar to like
holy shit,
frogmouth.
That's terrifying.
Yeah, it looks it looks like it's got like a disease.
Ghost bird captured in viral video. Is that what?
Yes.
Is that what you saw?
I just saw like footage of a ghost bird.
Okay.
It was whatever my intern here was showing me. They're studying for a master's degree.
What a terrifying looking animal.
It looks very like it's got leprosy or something.
Yeah.
Or a zombie.
It's got a big head.
Yeah, that's I think that's kind of the disconcerting thing about the bird.
All right.
Our second factoid comes from the country of India. And it is regards to the Sri Ranganathaswamy temple, located in Tamil Nadu, India, is the largest temple complex in the country, and it also contains a tower which is over 220 feet in height.
Ah.
Yes, I hope I pronounced that word precisely.
You were just trying to give yourself a challenge.
Yes, it was. Ranganathaswamy. Ranganathaswamy. So our third factoid is something in regards to something both Brendan and I really enjoy, but we will also be very saddened to hear this factoid because it involves our cousins to the north. It is stated that the first officially recorded baseball game in North America was played in Beachville, Ontario, Canada, June 4th of 1838. So
I refuse to accept this.
So the Leaves
invented baseball?
Were the first ones apparently to play the first recorded baseball game in North America.
Well, that sounds like they invented baseball.
I don't think they invented it. I think it was invented something. I think supposedly it was invented like in England.
No,
or something.
Americans invented baseball.
I think the modern concept of baseball, but like the very earliest origins of baseball comes from it. And it wasn't like necessarily cricket. It was like something that was similar to cricket, but not like
Abner Doubleday in Cooperstown, New York, summer of 1839. When did your Canucks invent it?
Summer of 1838.
God damn it.
Goddamn Canadian.
Motherfuckers. Why is everyone beating up the U.S. these days?
I don't know.
The U.S. needs a win, all right? So do the Cubs. I feel like it's going to be a long season. I hope I'm wrong. Jesus Christ, Alex. Anyway, well, Professor Alex, once again, as usual, a very fascinating look at various factoids.
Various obscure things around the world.
It's very...
Sorry, I'm dying here.
All right. But let's see. How do I tie this in? Speaking of... No.
Penises and money? Homeless people's penises?
Speaking of hitting things with sticks, Alex.
Yes. I like hitting things with sticks.
There's a book coming out that claims that human penises are shrinking due to pollution. But I particularly like the way that India Today framed this, because their headline just says, "Human penises shrink due to pollution, scientist." Like, it's not like a name. It's just like some scientist said this, guys. Like, get in here.
Scientist man claims penis is shrinking.
So here's the article from indiatoday.in. An environmental scientist has warned that human penises are shrinking due to the pollution which has been rising for the past few years. Due to rising pollution, a growing number of babies are being born with small penises, the scientist has warned. Isn't that kind of par for the course?
I would say yes.
Boys can't catch a break in modern world.
No,
times.
we're just despised by everybody.
Now the baby boys, they're like, look at how small that penis is. And everyone's pointing and laughing.
Mm-hmm.
Shauna Swan, of course it's a woman. Shauna Swan, in her new book titled Countdown, has said that humanity is facing an existential crisis in the fertility rates. As human penises are shrinking and genitals malfunctioning due to pollution, putting human reproduction in a challenging situation.
I would say that if it was being caused by pollution, there would be more things that would be shrinking than just penis sizes.
No, Alex, babies have small penises. It's the end of the world.
Okay. I guess that sucks for them.
Fucking as if babies didn't suck so much to begin with. Pooping all over the place. Now they got tiny dicks.
I'm gonna wait until Nicholas walks into the living room tomorrow and then start laughing at him and he'll be confused.
Yeah, just start pointing and laughing. Bring Erica out to do it too. You guys can both be like, small dick.
Daddy, stop laughing.
He probably would just start laughing. Does he understand humor yet?
He does. He has his own humor, which is whatever a 3-year-old's humor is. He'll do. You know what he does? He'll kind of just randomly like be playing it and then like get up and be like, "Daddy, look at this. Watch." And he does like something where he kind of does this spin around and fall on the ground thing. Goes like, "Ah ha 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 ha," and then they'll go back to playing.
But you were either you or Erica was telling me that he really is into your farting under your armpit sound thing.
He gets a kick out of it. Yep.
Is that so? Are children innately amused by farting sounds?
I think they're amused by funny noises.
Is he reacting to you and Erica laughing at it? Is he getting an emotional cue because his parents? Is it nature or nurture, Alex?
I think it's nature. I think it is nature in that case.
Farts are inherently funny.
Farts are funny. No, he'll do that where he'll make a fart noise and he'll go like, "Oh, Daddy, I tooted," and he'll be like, "Ha ha ha ha."
So he thinks his farts are funny.
Yeah, he'll be like, "Ah, I tooted." He calls them toots.
Interesting. Well, I mean, but he didn't come up with that on his own.
No, I think it's some other
He
kids.
got that from you two.
I didn't call him toots.
Really? Where did
He started. I don't think so.
It's this fucking preschool again, Alex. You need to homeschool this boy.
God, do you know what they're teaching kids? No, I think he learned, I don't know, probably from other kids or whatever, but like that. Because I never said the word tooted. I never said when he farted because he was like confused. Like one time when he did that, and I was like, I don't know what I said. I don't think I said tooted because I wouldn't have necessarily said that, but I'm like, I was probably like, oh, you just made a sound. He's like, oh, okay, whatever. And then like,
You just made a sound.
yeah. And then it's just like, he's just like, oh, okay, whatever.
I don't know how to handle a child farting. Specifically, if it was my child, I don't know how I would like, because I don't want them to have horrible shame and debilitating like body issues.
They'll just think it's funny.
But at the same time, I don't want them to think that it's okay to just fart wherever. Mm-hmm. So it's like, what do? You say like, oh, you can only fart in front of mommy and daddy? That's weird.
Yeah,
I don't know. You're like, that's what we told Nicholas.
yeah. But he likes, or like the farting noises I make with my hand and stuff like that. Yeah. So
Anyway,
I don't know. I mean,
I don't remember what it was like. I don't remember what farting in front of my family was like. I think I've blocked it out.
I think if I ever did, I'd try to like downplay it, or try to do like the silent thing if I couldn't get out of the way.
So you knew like when you were 8 years old that you shouldn't be farting, right?
Yeah.
Or did you think it was funny?
I don't think it was funny because I know my mom would get mad at me and yell at me and stuff like that. Also, it's like if I was like, if I was younger, I'm like, I can't really try to force it out because if I do, I'm gonna poop myself.
I can't force it out.
Sorry.
It's okay. I'm picturing. I think maybe it's social pressure because your classmates will be like, "Who farted?" And then it's like it's natural shame. It's not your parents being like, "Oh my God, you farted!" Like when you're 6 years old, being like, "You go to your room, you farted." Like you can't do that. Yeah. But luckily, society is there to enforce its own rules onto children, so that adults don't have to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's probably whatever he learned in school or something like that. There's probably some kid who's kind of like the class clown, even for like 3-4-year-old, and they probably just did the whole tooting thing.
So let's see. In her research, Shauna Swan examined that the syndrome.
Oh, it's a syndrome now. Oh.
And found that when fetuses were exposed to the chemical, they were likely to be born with shrunken genitals.
What chemical is she?
It's, sorry, I glossed over that. This is due to phthalates. Phthalate is a chemical used when manufacturing plastics that impacts the hormone-producing endocrine system. I don't use these scientific terms very much in day-to-day life. Shauna Swan discovered that male human babies exposed to phthalates in the womb had shorter anogenital distance, something that correlated with penile volume. As phthalate makes the plastic flexible, Shauna Swan pointed out that as it transmits into toys and foods, it harms human development by disrupting natural production of hormones. Blah, blah, blah. Point is, baby's got small dick. And
even before
that. And now it's like, well, all I'm hearing is that it's less competition in the future.
Against other babies?
Against babies.
Oh, good.
General.
That's good.
Alex, would you mind wrapping up this week's episode?
Certainly, Brendan. Thank you very much once again for listening to Culture Doom episode 335. On behalf of Brendan, this is Alex saying do побачення until next time. I want Merkel's Milkies or no deal.